Channel and Victory Formation. And we're going to be talking about how Lamar Jackson and his mother can ink him a $270 million deal. We're going to talk about that right after the bumper. What's good people? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we upload every single day. Now, we're going to be talking about Lamar Jackson, right, and his mom, and how Lamar Jackson is on the cusp of getting a contract well over $250 million. So be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Now, first, we have to break this all down, right? Why in the world would anybody give somebody over $200 million? Well, it really starts with the Patrick Mahomes deal. Well, as we know, in the NFL, contracts in quarterbacks, is particularly quarterbacks in the NFL, they make a ton of money. And one of those quarterbacks that is going to be making a ton of money is Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lamar Jackson is a product of the University of Louisville. It was a product of South Florida, by the way. And he went to University of Louisville, was the best player in college football at the University of Louisville, won the Heisman, right? Goes to the NFL, doesn't start initially in the NFL, comes in relief for Joe Flacco, and then becomes a sensation after that, including winning the MVP in 2019. So we have to start all of this with the Josh Allen deal. So for those of you who don't know, Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills quarterback, and Josh Allen just received a deal where he got $258 million. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to show you the contract that was given to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a good football player, but let's read some. See, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills signed quarterback Josh Allen to a 6-year extension deal worth $258 million with $150 million guaranteed, says sources. Josh Allen was drafted in the same draft class as Lamar Jackson, the 2018 draft class, and that class has got some really good players. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, really good quarterback crop. I mean, there were some stinkers in there. Josh Rosen, he's a dud, but hey, this is what happens when you play really good. Allen and the Bills agreed to a 6-year contract. The team announced Friday. The deal tops out at $258 with $150 million guaranteed, which is the largest guaranteed. According to ESPN stats and information research, the $150 million in guaranteed money is the most in a single contract in NFL history, surpassing Chiefs star Patrick Mahomes, whose deal included $141 million guaranteed. Allen's $43 million in average annual salary is the second behind Patrick Mahomes at 45. So keep that in mind. Allen's average annual salary is $43 million, right? Allen's, this is a tongue twister. Allen's average annual salary is $43 million. So I'm looking at my notes because I took some notes. So that means he makes $43 million a year. So what does that mean for Lamar Jackson? I mean, does it mean anything? Does it mean a lot? Does it mean everything? Well, it actually means quite a lot, because here's the thing about Josh Allen. He's a good player. He had a really good 2020 season where he finished second in MVP voting. I want to tell you his stats out loud, actually. He finished second in MVP voting. He threw 37 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions, 69% completion percentage, 4,500 yards passing, and a 107 passer rating, right? So it's like amazing. It's really, really good. He's going into his 4th year. He's young. He's up and coming. He had a really high draft grade. He was the number 7 overall pick, right? All of that is great. He's been great. He's been amazing last year. But his first 2 years were kind of a dud, right? Like, they weren't that special. They weren't that spectacular. He wasn't that great. He was just okay, whatever. But the thing about Lamar's been great the entire time, right? People can pick and choose and say whatever the hell they want to say about Lamar Jackson, but his game has been amazing from the jump. Like, he's never been bad. Right? 26 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions last season, which they considered a down year, by the way. He won his first playoff game. He had a 99 quarterback rating. He threw 64 completion percentage. And all of this was a down year for Lamar, right? Not to mention he went over 1,000 yards rushing for the second straight year, the only quarterback in the history of the NFL to do that. Not to mention, he was coming off a really good 2019 season where he won, the MVP. So it was hard to live up to those expectations, but he still did pretty good and still won his first playoff game, a win over the Tennessee Titans. So we can't just knock anything Lamar has done so far. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Has Lamar done anything wrong as of yet? So Josh Allen, remember, he got 258 and 43 annually a year. Lamar Jackson, in 37 career starts, has 30 wins and only 7 losses. It's pretty remarkable. It's pretty freaking good. Just to give you a comparison of that, Josh Allen has 28 wins and 15 losses. So he has 2 less wins and way more games than Lamar. Lamar Jackson played in 37 games. Josh Allen has played in, 10. Well, that's 38. He's played in 43 games. Josh Allen's played in 43 games. Lamar Jackson has played in 37. But 6 more games. 6 more games. Lamar has more wins, less losses, and more yards. Lamar has more wins, less losses, and slightly less yards passing. He has more yards rushing. That's what kind of player he is. So Allen, remember, Allen got $150 million guaranteed. Now, here's the really cool thing about Lamar Jackson. And hit the thumbs up button on your way and hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Here's what's really cool and why I titled this video, how Lamar Jackson's mother is going to help him get $270 million. Because look, I crunched some numbers. So the 2 people to compare Lamar to is Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. So Josh Allen took a longer deal with more money, right? Longer deal, $43 million a year. He got $150 guaranteed, all that good stuff. Another guy to compare Lamar Jackson's contract to, if Lamar chose to go a shorter term deal, right, more of the 4-year deal, is Dak Prescott. Now remember, Dak Prescott held out and he ended up getting a 4-year, $160 million guarantee, $160 million contract, right? So that's the deal Dak took because Dak wanted less years. He didn't want a 6-year deal like what Josh Allen signed. He wanted less years so he could get more, he could get another chance to get another big time contract, another 4-year deal 4 years from now, right? So here's where Lamar's mom plays into a factor. And this is where I got the $270 million contract from. Lamar has an MVP, Josh Allen doesn't. Lamar has more wins in less games than Josh Allen. And Lamar has more rushing yards and more touchdowns, and he's thrown less passes and played in less games. So all of that equates into he should make more money than Josh Allen, right? So if we're doing that, if we're using that logic, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, by the way, guys. If we're using that logic, what should Lamar make? What makes sense for this just superior player who John Harbaugh was on the way of getting fired before he showed up? Right? Before Lamar Jackson showed up, John Harbaugh, for those of you who can't remember, like 3 or 4 years ago, John Harbaugh was on the hot seat. The Ravens hadn't done anything for a long time. Flacco was staled out. He was staled out their Super Bowl win. They gave him a big contract. He kind of staled out. It is what it is. I'm not bashing on the man, but it's just the truth. And then Lamar came in and saved everybody's job. Everybody got new contracts. Everybody was able to go out and get more money, and everybody was able to stick around and still have jobs. And the Ravens were competitive, and they were going to the playoffs, and then they ended up winning a playoff game, and all of these things became, woo, thank you, Jesus, Lamar. But now it's time to pay the man. It is time to pay what you owe, right? He saved everybody from getting fired. GM's job saved. John Harbaugh, job saved. The president looked like a genius for taking the kid who had only done everything there is to do in college football on an individual level at a school that's not a college football powerhouse in Louisville, and just came and saved your franchise. Just came and saved your franchise. So yeah, it's time to reward the man. So here's the figures that I've thought up, and here's how Lamar Jackson's mom factors into all of this, right? It's really cool, right? So if I show you something, let me share my screen and make sure it pops up. I'm going to show you something really, really cool. So let's go to this Dak Prescott thing I had typed up. I had Dak Prescott's contract typed up, but I want to show you Lamar Jackson agent. Now, I want to show you what pops up when I type in Lamar Jackson agent. Oh, it doesn't show you. Okay, well, that's not cool. I'm going to type it in anyway. and see if it pops up. Okay, so look, I typed in Lamar Jackson agent, and who shows up? Who is that? Who is that woman? That woman is Lamar's mother, Felecia Jones. Listen to this. According to the NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Felecia Jones, Jackson's mother and manager, is helping push along a Jackson contract extension with the Ravens. Jones has acted as Jackson's de facto agent in the past, helping him sign the dotted line on his rookie year, and now presumably getting him a contract extension. People, this is amazing. Lamar Jackson's mom, Felecia Jones, who probably knew very little about NFL contracts before her son became an NFL superstar, is helping negotiate Lamar's new and current deal. Now, some of you might say, dang, that is like really, really stupid, Lamar. You should probably get a real agent, right? Like some of you are probably like, he should get a real agent, right? Like that's why they got these professionals and these law firms and these big, big corporations or whoever. And they're like, he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm really good on that. I'd rather have moms help me sign this deal and not have to go to somebody who I don't trust. Why else would you have your mother as your agent? Because she's someone you can trust. She's someone that you know is not going to screw you over. She's someone that has been there from the very beginning. She is someone that is reliable. She is someone that can hold it down. She is someone that will know the ins and outs of something where, knock on wood, something would ever to tragically happen to you. Those agents and those big corporations, they're not trying to do that. They're not worried about that. They're trying to get as much money as possible. Now, I'm going to read you this from the source that I have that works in the NFL. He says, I asked him about Lamar, and I asked him about like having a mom as an agent, right? Like, because he works in the NFL, he does some stuff with the NFL and stuff, and I was like, man, what's it like? Why the hell would he have his mom as his agent when, like I said, there's all these professional agents out here at all these professional agencies? Why wouldn't he go to one of them instead of going to his mom? This is an excellent question. One, it depends on your personal goals and perspective. I personally love and respect that he gave his mom that opportunity and that he entrusted her with his future. It's very commendable. It says two, now the alternative. The NFL and their contracts aren't easily negotiable because they aren't fully guaranteed contracts. Remember, we talked about Josh Allen. Josh Allen got 258, but only 150 guaranteed. It's something the NFL's been battling with their players for years about fully guaranteed contracts. So he goes into saying fully guaranteed contracts, meaning the structures, language, clauses, financial breakdowns, payouts, offsets, etc., are things that you have to be trained and educated and very keen on, because these teams, salary cap experts and GMs, will do their best to tear you to shreds if they know you aren't educated and knowledgeable. It'll be a long day in the office trying to negotiate a great deal for your client because they know you have minimum to no leverage, and they know they'll never have to see you again at that table. I say that to say this. It's very risky for a few reasons, but I wish him the best, and I hope it works out for him. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Now, all of that makes sense, my guy, right? All of that makes sense, but here's the thing about Lamar, and here's the thing that's working in he and his mom's favor. I'm going to show you one time again. Felecia Jones, which is Lamar Jackson's mother, is his agent. She works the deal. She did it for his rookie contract. She's doing it for this next extension. I'm going to get into the breakdown of how much that extension can actually end up being and how much I think it should be. So be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. And if you're on Facebook, I'm Jeff Lightsy Sports, or on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I'm Jeff Lightsy Sports. So here's the thing about that. So about that statement, Lamar Jackson has some things working in his behavior. Now, this guy, my guy from the NFL, is like, yo, that's tough. And they can finagle you into, signing a bad deal, right? Like if you don't know what you're doing, they can finagle you into signing a bad deal. But here's the thing that works in Lamar Jackson's benefit is the fact that Lamar Jackson has already proven himself, right? Like he's already a great NFL player. He's already a franchise NFL player. And guys who have accomplished less than him make a ton of money. They have set the standard. The Dak Prescotts, the Josh Allens, And the fact that it's a cube, he's a quarterback in a quarterback market, meaning quarterbacks get paid a ton of money in the NFL. They've already set the standard. There's no way I'm getting less than Dak Prescott. Honestly, there's no way I'm getting less than Josh Allen. If I'm Lamar, if I'm Miss Felecia Jones, if I'm whoever else is in coordinates of representing him, I'm not taking less than those guys because I've done more than those guys. Not only for my team and statistically, not only statistically have I done more than those guys because Lamar has an MVP, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott doesn't. Lamar has a playoff win. Josh Allen has playoff wins, but Dak Prescott, I'm not sure if he does or not. I don't. He hasn't even played that much, and he's done so much more than Dak Prescott. It's not even a question. It's Josh Allen, really, because he's in the same draft class. But here's the thing: I've done more for my franchise than those guys because the Bills with Tyrod Taylor, they were making some noise. Now they weren't the caliber of team that they are now with Josh Allen, but they weren't garbage. The Ravens were on borderline garbage. My coach was headed out the door. They were about to get fired. So, yes, I need the bag. I need all of it, especially with y'all harassing me about, getting the shot and all of that stuff. Nah, man, forget all of that. Yeah, I done called it twice, but it is what it is. I still need my bag because put somebody else out there. Go ahead and or you can't even put RG3. He works for ESPN now. Put somebody else out there instead of me. I'll wait, see what happens. What happened when you had Flacco? It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun around Baltimore. It wasn't fun to be a Ravens fan. Them last few years of Flacco. Wasn't that fun? You're losing all the time. And in 37 games that I've started, we're 30-7. In 37 games that I have started, we are 30-7. What is that win percentage? Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the comments? What is the 30-7 win percentage? I'm not sure. I'm terrible at math. I'm going to look it up really quick. A 30-7 record. So if you won 30 games to only 7 losses, what is that? It's a hell of a win percentage. It's really, really good. It's really, really good for Lamar. It's really, really good. So here's the figures. Here are the numbers that I've come up with. Lamar Jackson could potentially make. Get rid of that. The money that Lamar could potentially make. If I was negotiating for Lamar Jackson, if I went along, there's 2 options. You can do a long term, which is what Josh Allen did, 6-year deal, or you could do a shorter term like Dak Prescott and do a 4-year deal. If I'm Lamar Jackson, there's no way I make less than $44 million a year. No way. There's no way I make less than $44 million. The Ravens are going to use Patrick Mahomes as you can't get more than Pat Mahomes because he's got an MVP, which you got. He's got a Super Bowl. He's been in the Super Bowl 2 straight years. He's been in the AFC Championship game 3 straight years. You can't get what he gets. And that's cool. That's cool. But you got to pay me what I negotiate. And what I'm going to negotiate is $44 million a year. If Pat Mahomes makes 45, I need 44. So what does a $44 million contract look like? A $44 million a year annually look like for Lamar Jackson? Well, if he does a 4-year deal like Dak Prescott, he would do a 4-year, $176 million. 4 years, $176 million. Yeah, I take that to the bank. You can take me to the bank with that every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. If he does a longer term deal, like what Josh Allen did, Pat Mahomes did a 10-year deal, he's not going to do that. But if he does like a 6-year deal like Josh Allen, which would essentially, you do a 6-year extension and they're only in their 4th year, going into their 4th year of their 5-year rookie deal. So you got year 4, 5, and then you add 6 years onto that. I mean, we're talking about an 8 more years at least being a Baltimore Raven. Doesn't sound too bad to the Ravens. You got them for 8 more years. Talking about 6 years. If Josh Allen got 258, I need to get 265. I need to get 265 from Lamar. 6 years, $265 million. 6 years, $265 million, which is an annual salary of $44 million. And the person who will be at the seat of the table, at the head of the table, when all of this is going down, is Lamar Jackson's mother, Felecia Jones. And I can't be more happy and proud and happy for both of them. Both of them. Now, this is a good question from Slasher. Slasher says, is Lamar's mom like an accountant or something? Is that why she's his agent? I don't know. I'm not sure if she has any background in accounting or finance or numbers, but it sounds like it's more of a trust thing. It sounds like she's business savvy enough because she did negotiate his first deal, and he doesn't seem to be unhappy about it, right? Like, he seems like he's doing all right about his first deal. The Ravens hadn't said anything. Lamar hadn't said anything, and that was back in 2018. We're 3 years removed. So it sounds like he's been doing okay. So if that's the case, then $44 million, we're talking about 6 years, 265, or 4 years, 176. Now, Ron, I disagree with you. It says Lamar will probably get between 45 and 50 per year in his contract on a 5-year deal. I'm not sure, because once again, it's going to be hard for him and his mother to negotiate a deal better than Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes laid out that 45 a year, that number was astronomical. Both the years and 10 years, the $500 million or $450 million, and the $45 million a year. All of those were astronomical at the time that he signed it. And it's going to be very hard for Lamar to justify getting higher than that. Now, the question is how he could potentially do it is if he goes out this year, if he doesn't sign a contract this offseason. Here's how Lamar Jackson can make more than that. Here's how Lamar Jackson can actually make more than Patrick Mahomes and actually get over that 270 up in towards the $300 million range. If he doesn't sign a contract this offseason, which we don't know will happen, right? He just got back to camp. He just got back to camp this week and a couple days ago after being off 10 days because he contracted, COVID. The only way he'd be able to make more than Patrick Mahomes if he goes out this season, beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and wins the Super Bowl. He would have to beat Patrick Mahomes in the AFC playoffs, go out, play Brady in the Bucks or Aaron Rodgers in the Packers, or Matt Stafford in the Rams, Russell Wilson in the Seahawks, Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo in the 49ers, somebody from the NFC. He would have to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs and then defeat the NFC champion and win the Super Bowl. That's the only way I see what Ron's talking about. A 45 to 50 million a year. It's the only way. Now, if he bets on himself and is able to do that, all bets are off. The Ravens just gonna have to hand him in a blank check because all bets are off if he's able to do that. And Ron says the rookie deal is negligible. The money is slotted. Easy contract. This deal will be money. This is true, Ron. This is very true. And that's why it's going to be interesting to watch his mom make it happen, right? Now, think back to what I read from my guy from the NFL. He says that these guys the NFL's all about, the teams are all about saving a dollar. Save a buck to make an extra buck in profit. So it's not going to be, it's like you said, Ron, it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy at all. But I hope he's able to get that 265. I hope Miss Felecia Jones or whoever's working with him is able to get that 4, 5, 6 year deal over $250 million. I'm rooting for it. So, yeah, that's all I got today on Lamar Jackson and his contract situation and how his mother, Felecia Jones, is acting as his agent and is here to negotiate a deal that could get him over $270 million. The bare minimum that I'm going for is 265, but we could potentially be talking about a $270 million contract. Oh, and the guarantee money has to be at least 155. There's no way I'm taking, after Josh Allen just got 150, there's no way that I'm taking less than 155 in guarantees, especially if I'm on whether I'm on the 4-year 176 or the 6-year 265. There's no way that I'm taking less then 2, then 155 guaranteed. My name is Corey. Says the Ravens loaded up in the draft and free agency to put pieces around Lamar. I wouldn't be surprised if he bet on him to get that Super Bowl. That's true. I mean, that's true. That's why when they asked him, so Lamar came back to training camp after, being away for some time because, he got the virus or whatever. And they asked him like about his contract. And he said, man, I'm not worried about that. I'm here to win football games. That stuff will take care of itself. And what I think that means is if I go out there, I'm going to make at least what Josh Allen makes no matter what. There's no way you can deny me what Josh Allen makes, right? There's just absolutely no way. And I'm not signing it if you're trying to offer me less than what Josh Allen made, right? So I don't think he's worried because he's like, whether I win or lose, as long as I, knock on wood, as long as I don't get hurt, I'm going to be straight. And even if I do get hurt, I just saw Dak get $40 million a year and he didn't even play. Dak Prescott hasn't accomplished as much as me, doesn't have the potential that I have. Didn't even play and still got $40 million deal, $40 million a year. So Lamar is not worried in the slightest a bit. But if he bets on himself, Corey, if he bets on himself, he can make himself he's going to be a rich man regardless, but he can be an extremely rich man. We can get back into that $45 to $50 million range. If he's able to defeat Mahomes, he's got to beat Mahomes now because that's going to play a factor into it. Beat Mahomes and beat a Brady, Rodgers, or Stafford, or Wilson, or the 49ers in the Super Bowl, yeah, they're going to back up. They're going to back up the Brinks truck from my man's because he's going to be able to take home a lot of money. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel in Victory Formation. Follow me on Facebook at Jeff Lightsy Sports. I post all my content on there, right there on Facebook. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.